The President will be arriving next week at the invitation of President Vladimir Putin, and his objective is to give a boost to our bilateral relations, as well as discuss the situation in our region and the world, and how both our countries can work together to bring peace and prosperity to each of our countries, and how we can contribute to issues like the fight against terrorism, the fight against organized crime. The bilateral relations have been at the level of almost pre-Cold War. There hasn't been much movement. We've been friends formally for 40 years, 41 years this year. Yet the manifestations of a vibrant relationship are not there. We don't have basic agreements. We don't have interactions, trade and commerce between our countries are very low. So there's much room for improvement. I think it will not just further improve, but will dramatically improve our relations. I think he and Mr. Putin have developed a good personal rapport. The Russian people are increasingly getting very interested in things Philippines, whether it's our tourist spots or business. And I think this is the right time for the Philippines and Russia to finally set aside whatever baggage there was and try to find mutually beneficial activities. I've been looking at the business delegation and the business activities, and yes, that's a resounding yes. I think there's a lot of room for improvement. There's increasing demand for products from the Philippines, and products and services. And there are also items here that we could use in the Philippines, or if brought to the Philippines would lower the price of consumer goods. Very competitive items. And it would increase commerce and benefit our consumers. There's a very strong political agenda. There's also a very strong economic agenda. And of course, there's the agenda of the security and welfare of our Filipinos here in Russia. Several agreements are in the works and hopefully will be signed. They range from cooperation in defense and security to cooperation to fighting crime, to economic agreements. We have, and the economic agreements range from trade and investment to tourism, to energy, even educational and cultural cooperation. Of course, the highlight, one of the highlights is the Filipino community activity. And they're all very eager to meet the President. As you know, the President won here a resounding victory in the elections last year. And we're oversubscribed. We tried to bring in as many Filipinos as we could, in coordination, of course, with Russian security, who want the President to have a successful visit. We have so much business interest in Russia from the Philippine side, and a lot of Russian businessmen are interested in the Philippines. For Moscow, we had to have two activities because of this huge interest. The first activity will be a gathering of the top CEOs of the Philippines and Russia, and the President will meet and address them. And then, so this is a smaller, more intimate group. And the next business activity here in Russia will be a business forum where we have about 300 Filipino businessmen and equal number of Russian businessmen. They will meet our economic team, and then the President will join them later on and keynote their gathering and witness the signing of some business-to-business agreements. And then in St. Petersburg also is the third business activity, where there will be a similar format. It's a very wide range of economic interests. there's investment, there's also trade, and also tourism. In fact, last night I just came from a massive promotion here in Russia by a Plantation Bay of Cebu, and it was jam-packed. Russian travel agencies were all very eager to know more, and they were very interested. It reflects the enthusiasm that Russians have to know more about the Philippines and hopefully visit the Philippines. St. Petersburg's the major seaport of Russia in its western side. In fact, it's the only seaport that part of Russia, and it caters to the building of both commercial and naval vessels. We're hoping to have the president view some of Russia's more modern naval vessels. In Moscow, our estimate's about 4,000 to 5,000. Most of them work in households. We have very few students, about maybe 5 who are studying here.
Sir, what are the reactions on the coming visit of the president?
Their reactions are, it's very difficult to describe, but they're very eager to see him. They express great admiration for him. I think a glimpse at the social media of our friends here in Moscow, Filipino friends, will show you. I have not seen one negative word. It's all positive. It's all working towards a warm welcome.
Sir, did they have any expectation on the visit of the president here in Moscow?
They are very pleased and surprised that a president is coming to Russia. It's not that often. The last bilateral visit was Mr. Ramos in the 90s. There have been other visits, but not on a bilateral basis. Russia is not usually on the travel program of our officials in the past, but now it's on the map, and it's a good thing because Russia has many things to offer, and I think under an independent foreign policy we can objectively pursue our national interests quite efficiently. The Philippine Embassy is in constant touch with the Filipino community. We have a finger on the pulse of our community here. What we have done is we have organized workshops and seminars to advise them of their rights here. We have done gender workshops. We've done legal workshops on religious freedoms. We've organized social activities. We've also organized a cultural group, and I'm absolutely amazed at the talent, inherent talent of our kababayans here in Moscow. Malaking karangalan po sa lahat namin dito na bibisita ho si Presidente, and there will be many opportunities. Hindi po dapat tayo mabahala na maging malalim na kaibigan ang Russia. Ang ating mga polisiya ay pinag-aralan mabuti, at ang ating mga humahawak ng polisiya na yan are professionals, and they will be able to carry out our relations with Russia. And I think in the end we will see the results, and these results will be good for both countries, and that there should be nothing that should stand in the way of both countries working together. Maraming salamat po.